Good afternoon. I am Greg Davis. I'm the CEO of SunPeak Metals. We are a Vancouver-based private company, and we're currently active in exploration in northern Ethiopia. Our team, myself and the two other founders of SunPeak, have almost 20 years experience in the region, going back to 2002 to 2005, where we were the exploration team for Nevsun Resources at Bisha, which we drilled 70,000 meters in just over a year, and very successful exploration. And then we went on to be senior management with another company, also in Eritrea, Sunridge, which was at one time a sister company to Nevsun. At Sunridge, we spent 10 years. We drilled over 300,000 meters, and we defined 6 deposits. 4 of them we took through the gamut of pre-feasibility study, feasibility study, a massive social and environmental study, and ultimately we acquired a mining license. And then just about 4 years ago, we sold the company to a large Chinese SOE. So after that, our team wanted to stay together. We looked at different opportunities around the world, but we kept coming back to the Arabian-Nubian Shield, which is in Eritrea, Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia. And we had spent the better part of 15 years in Eritrea. The trends run north-south. The border to the south with Ethiopia runs east-west. So ultimately, logically, we went to northern Ethiopia and began to have a look around and see if we could see the same kind of geological potential. So we did our first trip to Ethiopia in June 2016. It was really a no-brainer, but we were still thrilled to find the exact same trends that we spent 15 years previously working in, with numerous gossans, the surface expression of VMS deposits. Many had been completely untested, undrilled. The ones that have been drilled had really just first pass drilling with significant results. So we made a decision to proceed. So our team, prior to Ethiopia, did have a significant track record of success in the Arabian-Nubian Shield. We are now in northern Ethiopia. Our project is called the Shire Project. We have 4 licenses totaling about 1,000 square kilometers. 2 of them are 100% SunPeak, and 2 of them we have a joint venture, an Ethiopian private mining company as a joint venture partner. On all 4 licenses, we have numerous high priority targets, both gold and VMS potential, base metals. We acquired about 15,000 meters of core from 3 different targets that we've spent the last few months relogging. Relogging using the rock codes that we developed in 2003 at Bisha, and we're about to begin our first drill program, which should start next week. We've also completed a large VTEM survey, which helped us with our previous defined targets, and it's also opened us up to a whole slew of new targets that we'll have to follow up on in the next few years. We raised money in December. We're well financed. We have 14 million Canadian in the bank, and we're working towards a public listing in Q1, well, actually late March in next month. Our team, myself, David Dowd, and Scott Ansell, we've worked together for 20 years. We are the team at Bisha, the exploration team. We then went on to manage Sunridge, also in Eritrea, and we were the 3 co-founders of SunPeak. Our board of directors is a strong team, led by David Oram as chairman, Stephen DeYoung and Haley DeWitt as directors, and Doris Meyer and Dan O'Brien we have a 10-year relationship with, working with Sunridge, so we all work well together. We have a history. Our past discoveries, relative to our new discoveries, you can see on the map, Bisha and Asmara Project in Eritrea, and then just south of the border, we have 4 licenses, Adidero, Terra, Nefisit, and Meli, totaling about 1,000 square kilometers. Going from Eritrea to Ethiopia, it's really the same culture, but there are some major differences. Recently, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia received the Nobel Peace Prize. Addis Ababa is actually the headquarters of the African Union. And Eritrea, might surprise you, has over 100 million people as a population. The mining regime has a 5% government participation once you convert to a mining license, which works perfect for us. It's not onerous, but you enjoy the government as a partner. There is a surplus of electricity in the country, which will help future mining events. The Shire Project, zooming in a little bit here. Just as zooming in and zooming out, a little bit of history. One of the tools that we used very effectively in our two previous successes at Bisha and on the Asmara project was ground gravity. And on the left is a map from Bisha from 2003. That white ellipsoid is where we put our first 16 holes in early 2003 and we're hitting very significant results of gold, copper, and zinc. But as we moved south with the drill, the zone began to jog back and forth and thin out. So we used ground gravity as a tool, and it worked very well. You can see the colors around the white ellipsoid showed the zone that we had been drilling very well. But then in May of 2003, it defined another zone to the south. And we moved to drill 500 meters, a blind target on flat alluvium, and drilled, on the first hole, we drilled 184 meters of high-grade gold, copper, and zinc, which led to what Bisha is now. It showed that Bisha had size, and then for the next 6 months, we drilled about 50,000 meters and delineated Bisha. The reason I was showing you that map is we're seeing the exact same signature now in Ethiopia. So our current projects are in red. Adidero and Nefisit are 100% SunPeak, Meli and Terror on the map. We have a joint venture agreement with an Ethiopian partner where we can earn 70% by taking any one site to a feasibility study level. To the north is Eritrea, and our previous projects were 70 kilometers to the northeast. In blue, we have Newmont as a neighbor. That's something we never had in Eritrea, but we are quite happy to have them as a neighbor in Ethiopia. The trends come down and they kind of trend to the southwest, across Terror, across Nefisit, and then underneath Overburden, and then they reappear on Meli. Key targets, I don't have a lot of time, so I'll just focus on one, the Meli target. We have Newmont to the west, and the Meli target has about 50 holes in the red dots, and they defined a gold oxide cap. We've applied the same techniques that we used at Bisha and the Asmara project, and we have a very strong gravity anomaly 2 kilometers to the west. On follow-up, we identified multiple Gaussons on top of the gravity anomaly, and this has quickly become a high priority target, and we will drill it in the next few months. So as I said, that was one target. We have about 18, what we define as high priority. They all have very similar signatures. They all have gravity anomalies, EM conductors, strong soils, and in many cases they have Gaussin. They essentially poke out of the ground. So we were really happy to see that when we first went to Ethiopia in 2016. Our share structure, we ultimately have 77 million shares outstanding. We're well financed, 14 million in the bank. Most of that will go to drilling. We expect to drill 10,000 meters this year, at least 10,000 meters. And then if we do start hitting something significant, we will step it up. So highlights, our team has worked together for a long time. We know these rocks very, very well. We spent the last almost 2 decades of our life with multiple successes. The current licenses are located in the exact same geological environment as Bisha and the Asmara project. We're just merely south of the border. Nefisit and Adidero licenses, 100% SunPeak ownership, and Meli and Terror are a joint venture with an Ethiopian company. By the way, that same Ethiopian company has a joint venture agreement with Newmont. That photograph there is our warehouse and core handling facilities, and we also have Newmont next door. So I think we'll start to hear more about Ethiopia as an emerging mining district in the years to come. We're going to begin drilling our first program beginning in a few days, and as I said, we're going to drill at least 10,000 meters and test somewhere between 6 and 10 new targets in 2020. We're also currently private, but we are working towards a public listing. We expect to list on the Toronto Venture Exchange, and if we're under the schedule we're working under, we expect to be listed somewhere between mid-March and the end of March. That's it. Thank you very much. I'm at CG, is the SunPeak booth. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you.